So for my bit of news, it kind of tallies on from last week's stuff where we talked about the Xbox Showcase and Halo Infinite. So a lot of people actually kind of complained about Halo Infinite's visuals. They said the graphics kind of... I think actually while we were watching the live stream, Chris, you mentioned that someone had commented that it kind of looks like a PlayStation 2 game or something like that, or sort of saying the graphics. I think
they were saying that it looked like it was current gen.
I thought, okay, so yeah. Anyway,
it looked like it was like a big next gen game. Is what.
Yes, yeah. So that was the thing. A lot of people said this doesn't look that good. It looks like the graphics aren't very decent. Not what they're expecting for the Xbox Series X. It's meant to be the showcase to really show off the game, and like this is like a flagship title for the game for the console. So why did the game not look as good as people were expecting? So the developers, 343 Studios, 343 Industries, sorry, they've actually kind of addressed this. So their community manager, I'm not going to get his name right, but it's John Juneschek? That sounds better. Yeah. How did you know that? Wow. Anyway,
because he's cultured.
Yeah.
You just know the guy. Okay, cool, awesome. Anyway,
aside from skateboarding and good music, he's cultured.
John for 343.
Johnny J.
The JJ. I'm calling JJ. Yeah, he's come out and he's said he's addressed why the style actually looks like it is, but also about the visuals and stuff themselves. So he said, look, from my learnings from Halo 4, 5, and Halo Wars 2, along with strong community feedback, we decided to shift back towards the legacy aesthetics that define the original trilogy. With Halo Infinite, we're returning to a more classic art style, which was a key message going back to the very first reveal that garnered enthusiastic and positive responses. This translates to a more vibrant palette, cleaner models, and objects with less noise, though it doesn't mean less detail. But some people, as you say, say this still doesn't look that great. And there was talk about there's some pop-in that you can see in the video in the distance and stuff, which people weren't really expecting from Xbox Series X. And the lighting felt a bit dull and everything. But so he addressed this saying, in many ways, we're in agreement here. So the studio's actually agreeing with what everyone's saying. We do have work to do to address some of these areas and raise the level of fidelity and overall presentation for the final game. So it sounds like they are actually receptive about this. They're talking about actually doing the graphics a lot better than they were what we saw. And they also mentioned that it was actually an early version of the game, and they had actually been working on it since. Like the video they showed on the presentation was about a month old, so they had been doing a lot of work already on it. So hopefully when it launches, it's going to look a lot better than it did there. I mean, the studios do say this sometimes, like, oh yeah, we're going to address that, but they don't always. Hopefully they are. But yeah, what do you guys think? To be honest, I'm just going to say my piece first, sorry. I didn't think the graphics were that bad. I mean, I feel like it's going to be one of those games that is on Xbox One and Xbox Series X, so I kind of feel like there will be that crossover period where some games don't look as amazing as they could do. I mean, maybe it could have looked better, but to me, the scope of the area that you could see of the world seemed very impressive to me, and that's what I was focusing on. I thought the detail was decent enough; it didn't bother me at all. And Halo's never really looked that realistic as it were, because it's kind of sci-fi stuff. It's interesting to see if they do actually make it better. What do you guys think?
I've never cared how games look. I've never been on board with like, this looks great, I need to own it. And I'm not just saying that to sound cool or like a hipster, but it just doesn't, like, I can see where they're coming from, where it did look a little bit dated. It did. The guy's face that was talking to Master Chief looked a little not as insane as like a Quantum Dream or a Naughty Dog game or something maybe, but I just don't get why it matters so much. I really don't. I don't like, but I also fell in love with cell shading. So who am I to talk? It's strange to me that we're complaining about graphics that the human eye can barely see at this point.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I saw something else, some news around this time too, that they were saying that it's going to be running at 120 frames per second. Do you see that?
Yeah,
great.
Yeah, that was actually talking about
support that.
Apparently, the multiplayer will be free to play and running. That was actually another bit of news that came out about this.
Oh, there is multiplayer. Okay.
The multiplayer is going to be free to play and it's going to be running at 120 frames per second. Because from the sounds of it, it's going to be very much like the massive Fortnite and Call of Duty Warzone. It's going to be one of those massive epic multiplayer games. Essentially, they're rejigging it to make it this. I haven't actually got full details, but that's what everyone was saying. It's going to sounds like what they're doing. So they want to make it free to play and running 120 frames per second.
I think that's interesting. Cool. That because you're essentially only buying the campaign then. Like I'm wondering if they're going to be giving people that buy the game like some sort of bonuses in the multiplayer, because I mean I don't know. It bothers me as a consumer that they have to come out and say that the multiplayer will be free to play. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks for putting a basic part in the game for me to enjoy. I'm glad you were nice enough to do that. Well, no, sorry, I'm going to go on a tangent.
So I think just to clarify on that, I think if you buy Halo Infinite, you have the multiplayer there as standard, but I think they're also releasing the multiplayer as like a Fortnite style separate multiplayer for other people to play. That's the impression I'm getting. So it's going to be a big open epic battle sort of game, but it's also going to have the free to play version.
A ton of microtransactions. That's what
possibly. It could be microtransactions. I don't know.
It's interesting that they're going that route. Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say they're going to have those like
battle passes.
What are they like in Fortnite? They have like a new season or whatever. It's like battle passes. I think it's going to go that route.
I hope it doesn't go that way in a way, but I can understand why. That seems to be a big thing for these multiplayer games these days, and it seems to work. I've got Call of Duty Warzone, and I don't spend a penny on it, but obviously some people do. So it gives you that option. I don't know. I'm kind of hoping they do keep some of the old style death matches in there, like, the standard ones, but it will be interesting to see.
Slayer.
Usually the way I like to try to do it, if I'm going to play a free-to-play game and I really like it, I definitely want to give, some money to the developers for, making the game, but I'll typically try to not go past what I would typically spend on that as a video game. So if it's like $50-$60, over the lifetime of me playing it, I'd be fine with spending, $60 on, Halo Infinite or whatever. But I'm not going to go beyond that and, be buying like every single, season pass or whatever. So it's like $15 like every month or two, whatever Fortnite does. It's insane. And you have these kids that they want to buy every single one of those because they get a couple new skins, and that's somewhat how important these days.
I think it's interesting that they're trying it with Halo because don't want to assume too much, but if there's any game that they can make a financial risk on it, it's probably Halo. I'm not sure how 5 did financially or whatever, but and I keep thinking of a game that's going free to play is Rocket League. That's kind of an exception, but this is a weird exception too, because I loved the prequel to it. Did either of you guys play the prequel to Rocket League? It was only on PS3, I think, but it was called, everybody together now knows what I'm talking about, Supersonic Acrobatic Rocket Power Battle Cars.
Oh my god.
Yeah, they've talked about in multiple documentaries for Rocket League how that was such a bad choice, and it was like taking the jokes of Conan O'Brien's late show where he would have the reoccurring characters with unnecessarily long names and stuff. But no, I love that game. And then Rocket League came out on PS Plus. It was free to play, and I love that game so much. And Brett of Megavisions can also attest to this. Him and I played the crap out of it, but because it was free, we were more than ready to buy, the Batmobile when it came out, or whatever else, the cars, the skins, the stuff like the Hot Wheels. There was a prequel thing of car skins and whatever. Eventually, I don't know how it took so long, but eventually there were Hot Wheels collaborations and stuff. But and that game's still going strong. That might be the only game I've played as consistently as it's been active, if that makes sense.
Okay, yeah.
Because they're like giving out like 5-year anniversary stuff and whatever, and I'm like, I have been playing this as long as it's launched, and I realize that more and more because my ranking is like beyond pro, but I'm not good at the game, so I keep getting thrown into ranked matches with people that are like doing these crazy shots and stuff, and there's no way to change that.
Good at it after 5 years.
I'm okay, but I mean, like, I just don't. They're on different levels, but
Yeah.
So, but that's that's an exception. But if it's done right and it's successful, you're either dead in the water or you are flying on your own island with the free to play stuff. So
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do it.
Like if they are going to do like skins and other things like that, like it's weird unless they let people just get really silly with it. Like how many variations of the typical like Halo armor are you going to get with that?
Oh, you can do plenty.
Why it works with games like Fortnite is because they can do sponsored stuff. They can have
Right.
like Deadpool in the game and other stuff like that. There's just really cool characters that they can make. But with like Halo, you're going to have Master Chief in his suit. So how many variations of that are you really going to have that look different enough and are going to make people want to buy it? Compared to something like the Fortnite. I don't know.
Yeah, unless they do it a different way.
What if instead of him being green, his armor's blue?
Oh, yeah, that changes everything.
Oh dear. But what if instead of things like armor or new weapons and stuff, they do things like they launch it free to play with 10 maps or whatever, and all the weapons. But then down the line they release another 5 or 10 maps with new vehicles on those maps and stuff. I don't know. Like, would you pay to upgrade for those things, or what would you think? Like, rather than just buying skins, because personally, I would if it's more content, more areas to play in. Like Warzone, for example.
What they've been doing forever with Halo?
Not really. No, they don't. They don't release new maps as such, do they? From memory.
Was it Forged or whatever? Wasn't there a create a map mode?
Yeah.
Is it called Forged?
But like, I played Halo 2 and Halo 3 like multiplayer to death almost, and I
many
don't
people
really
are screaming at us right now through the internet.
I don't remember there being any more maps
for that.
Did they?
Yeah, because there was times where you try to play multiplayer and it wouldn't let you join a map because or match because you didn't have the maps downloaded and installed.
Jeez, I cannot remember.
I think we're forgetting about. I think we're forgetting about Halo 5, that mode that had like the cards you could unlock, and it would give you different vehicles to start out. What was that mode? You know what I'm talking about, Graham? In 5,
no.
where
I played the Deathmatch 5
people.
briefly.
You don't like Tony Hawk? Where am I? All right, let me find it. God damn it!
Oh dear. So yeah, 5. I played the campaign. And I played the multiplayer like twice. I didn't really do much on 5, partly because Chris, my Halo buddy, wasn't playing Halo 5. God damn it.
I'll play Halo Infinite with you.
Thank you. Scotty, I want you playing Halo Infinite with me as well. Thank you. Let's all play together.